one side, there was a dusty construction access road where bulldozers were struggling to dig along the rugged mountain road. On the other side, there is a magnificent bridge piercing through the clouds and fog, and advanced tunnel boring machines advancing through the hard rock strata. These two scenes depict the current state of India's border regions. New Delhi is investing heavily in upgrading its cutting-edge infrastructure. According to recent media reports, citing sources familiar with the matter, India plans to invest up to 450 billion rupees, approximately $4.7 billion, in the next 1 to 2 years for the upgrade of the border railway alone. This does not include the enormous expenses on highways, bridges, and airports. On the surface, this is an economic blueprint aimed at bringing development to remote border villages. But behind this grand narrative, many analysts believe that a massive strategic plan is quietly unfolding. Is this huge sum of money intended to connect villages or enhance frontline military logistics? And where will it lead the future of the Sino-Indian border? India is undertaking an unprecedented upgrade of its railway and road network along its long border, particularly in the areas bordering China and Pakistan. These projects are often viewed by outsiders as strategic infrastructure with dual uses. Normally, they serve as civilian passageways to improve the economy of border areas and connect forgotten villages and towns. However, analysts point out that when necessary, these newly built highways and railways will immediately transform into military arteries for transporting troops, heavy equipment, and logistical supplies. The strategic focus of this plan is clearly directed at the entire vast northeastern region, including the so-called Arunachal Pradesh, that is to say, the southern part of Tibet in China, and the Ladakh region. Since the Galwan Valley clash in 2020, the Indian leadership has realized that there is a gap between its logistical and mobility capabilities and those of its adversaries in the border region. This unprecedented infrastructure investment reflects New Delhi's attempt to strengthen its border defense and logistical support capabilities. So, what do these cold steel structures and tunnels actually mean militarily? First and foremost, the most direct goal is to significantly reduce troop deployment time. The harsh weather and complex terrain of the Himalayas have long been a natural barrier limiting the Indian Army's rapid response. A strategic highway or railway that operates around the clock can reduce the time it takes to move heavily armed troops from the rear to the front lines from several days to a shorter period. Take the recently opened Sira Tunnel as an example. This tunnel provides the Indian Army with unprecedented all-weather access to the Taiwan region and reduces travel time by about an hour. More importantly, it allows Indian troops to avoid routes that were previously susceptible to weather and geological disasters to some extent, thus improving the reliability of operations. Secondly, there is the upgrading of the frontline airport. India is accelerating the modernization of several forward airports near the line of actual control, with the Nyoma Airport being the most notable example. This simple airfield, located on a plateau at an altitude of over 4,000 meters, will become one of the world's highest fighter jet bases once it is upgraded, just tens of kilometers from the line of actual control. This means that the combat radius and reaction time of the Indian Air Force main fighter jets will be significantly improved. From highways to railway arteries, from strategic tunnels to forward airfields, India is weaving a three-dimensional transportation network with significant military potential. The core logic of this network is to support its larger scale and longer-lasting military presence in border areas, attempting to enhance its so-called reliable deterrence through the infrastructure for combat power approach. India's plans are indeed ambitious, but the context of this infrastructure race becomes more complex when we turn our attention to the other side of the mountain. This is a race to catch up from different starting points. While India was still celebrating the completion of a tunnel, China had already built a world-class network of highways, railways, and air routes on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. The Lhasa-Ningchi Railway has long been open to traffic, and the Xinjiang-Tibet and Sichuan-Tibet highways are as majestic as roads to the heavens, with world-class bridges spanning the natural barriers. This reflects not only differences in engineering technology, but also differences in national will, organizational efficiency, and overall national strength. More importantly, China's response strategy is not simply, you build roads, I build roads too. First, China possesses strong situational awareness capabilities. Through satellite and various technological monitoring methods, China is able to maintain a high level of attention to major activities in the border areas. Secondly, China has established a powerful rapid response and long-range strike system. Some analysts believe that China's long-range rocket artillery system is capable of covering some of the important nodes and assembly points of Indian troops in the border region. This means that some carefully constructed strategic hubs may face the risk of being suppressed in the event of conflict. In addition, China's well-off village construction plan in border areas also has profound strategic significance. These villages are ostensibly projects for improving people's livelihoods and securing the border, but their well-developed roads, communication and energy facilities, as well as their sturdy buildings, theoretically give them the potential to become forward logistics nodes in wartime. This is a profound strategy that integrates national defense potential into social development. India's infrastructure ambitions also face many insurmountable internal challenges. First, there is a conflict between funding and efficiency. Despite the enormous investment required, the funding needs are staggering, given the vast border and harsh natural environment. At the same time, government projects in India generally suffer from inefficiency. A project to build 73 strategic border roads (ICBR) that began in 1999 and was scheduled for completion in 2012 has faced serious delays. Despite some acceleration in recent years, historical experience still leaves outsiders with doubts about whether today's even larger project can be completed on time. Secondly, it is a battle between technology and nature. Carrying out large-scale engineering projects in the Himalayas is the ultimate test of a country's engineering capabilities. The geological structure here is extremely complex, and natural disasters such as avalanches and landslides occur frequently. Despite India's experience in building mountain roads and tunnels, negative news such as bridge collapses and construction delays still frequently appear in the media, which is a true reflection of the technological and environmental challenges. Third, there is the issue of economic returns. Unlike urban transportation, which can directly generate economic benefits, the direct economic return rate of border strategic infrastructure is relatively low. It serves long-term national security, more providing a security dividend rather than an economic dividend that can be seen in the short term. This means that the project may face continuous pressure for funding and political support during peacetime. There is no doubt that India is attempting to improve its strategic position in the border region with unprecedented determination through an infrastructure gamble. This ambitious plan is a clear signal of New Delhi's strategic anxiety and determination. However, the competition between nations is a contest of comprehensive strength, not just a battle of steel and concrete, but also a full reflection of technological level, strategic vision, and national will. India's efforts deserve continued attention, but it should also be recognized that China has built a systemic advantage through decades of dedicated effort in this long-term competition. The Himalayas have witnessed the evolution of the regional landscape. As India strives to catch up, it faces a neighboring country that has been strategically positioned on the roof of the world for many years. Regarding this ongoing grand strategy on the border, do you think India can truly bridge the power gap with China in the border region with this massive investment? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. See you next time.